Welcome back to another episode of the Canon on the Boomer Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today doing a review of episode 1 of Marvel's What If. So this is the next in the line of Disney Plus shows for Marvel, the MCU universe, or I don't know why I said that, but anyway, this was one that I was really excited about, probably the most excited about. Before we really knew what WandaVision was going to be, I just was like, okay, whatever. Wanda's not really a character that I like that much. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was pretty excited about. Up until they start talking about it was going to be about taking over the mantle of Captain America. That turned me off because I was just like, I don't think it's a mantle. I think that's just Steve Rogers. And so I ended up liking it, but wasn't too excited once I heard about that. But what if that was the project that really got me excited? I said many years ago, actually a long time ago, this was before I even had the YouTube channel, I think, but I was talking about Elseworld is what maybe that was YouTube. I don't remember, but I was talking about Elseworld. And so that's obviously one of the terms from DC, I believe, and just the same idea, the multiverse. Oh, well, not exactly the multiverse, just kind of like what if? Like, what if this one thing happened? And one of my favorite that I've read was Bruce Wayne when he got, what if, essentially the lantern ring that chose Hal Jordan chose Bruce Wayne instead. And so that's just cool stories like that, just like Elseworld, but what if, same thing. And so we get the same thing with Joker and Joaquin Phoenix, where they said this is kind of an Elseworld thing. I made a video a long time ago, I was saying that's the next step. That is what these like comic book properties have to move towards, because eventually you're going to build so big that you won't be able to hold your own canon and you won't be able to hold your own universe. And we've seen that many times. There's a lot of fans that be like, you're nitpicking, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. Like this idea that, I shouldn't care that there's a whole group of Avengers in the same universe, yet Tony Stark gets his house blown up and nobody shows up. Oh, but it's about Tony and Iron Man. So of course they don't show up. That's not the point. So anyway, I was just always like, they should really give some, credence to this. And so we saw DC kind of kick it off with doing these multiple realities or, Elseworld type things with Joker. Like I said, they're doing it again with the Batman. They're doing very different levels. And so I was really excited to see what Marvel's spin on it would be, especially since they were using some of the voices from the MCU, not everybody, but it was pretty much going to be like this real show to say, okay, what if this happened just a slightly different way with current MCU stories. So it wasn't just, random stories. It was stories from the movies that we already saw. So I was really excited about that. And then found out it was animated, saw the first trailer, was still pretty excited. And so then we get it today. I'll say this, I really love the animation. I knew I was going to like it from the trailers, but I think just seeing some of it in the trailers is one thing, but when you see the action and just some of the ways they do certain things, the way they bring things to life, when they make the little illustrations when someone's punching or making a sound or all those different things. It reminds me a lot of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where I didn't really have too much expectations for it, but when you watch it, it was just so visual. It was kind of like bringing a comic to life. And so I liked the animation a lot, that kind of like almost like photoreal type stuff. And so that stood out to me right away. And I really enjoyed like Captain Carter, like a lot. I really kind of wish, I wouldn't say that, because I love Captain America, Steve Rogers. So obviously that's the main character, but I really wouldn't mind seeing like a whole live action version of that movie And I don't know if it was just because of the show or if this was because they were trying to pump up Captain Carter, but she just seemed to be a little more powerful, a little more into it than Captain America was. Now, that could 100% be because Steve Rogers wasn't really a soldier or anything prior to taking the serum, and she was. So that could be it, but she just seemed to be a little more powerful than what I remember Steve being. And so, but anyway, I enjoyed it. Then the idea of Steve kind of having the Ironmonger suit because Stark got the Tesseract, and so it was just interesting. It was really interesting. But I think overall for me, it was just really short. It just really felt like crammed, and I was wondering what the runtime would be once this came out, and I first went to it and saw it was 34 minutes, and I was like, okay, that's a decent amount, but that doesn't seem like enough. And then sure enough, when you watch it, it's like, that's not enough, because they're speeding through the movie, and I don't really need a recap of the movie. I just want to spend more time, like, with everything. You know what I mean? They have this whole thing where Captain Carter and Steve Rogers kind of fall for each other, obviously, but it kind of just comes, it feels like it comes out of nowhere, especially because he's not, Captain America. He doesn't have this, impressive physical specimen or anything like that. And so it's just, I just feel like it would take more storytelling for us to believe Peggy Carter still fell in love with Steve Rogers if he was just a skinny little kid. And so everything just felt a little rushed, like, it was very condensed. And I get that it's kind of the same story, but obviously you can see there's differences in it. And I really just felt, I left feeling like, wow, I really wanted more of that, which I think is a good thing, but I just really wanted more. I wanted either an hour or maybe a movie length to really flesh out, because that's the point of What If, right? Like, what Peggy goes through is not the same as what Steve goes through. And I like how they switched up certain things. Like, she wasn't with the crew because they put her out there as propaganda. She went there to save Steve's friend. And then, of course, she doesn't get frozen in time like Steve. She goes through the Tesseract and ends up where Loki was. So, obviously it was enough to be different. And I really think they could have filled some time, doing that. But I enjoyed it. I'm interested in what comes next. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, we've kind of seen a lot of the stories. One that I'll point out, I don't know if I've seen this too many other places, but when you go to Disney Plus and you kind of like the landing page for What If, before you click the episode, they have like the little art or whatever that is, like little poster, and up there you see Gamora dressed like Thanos with his big sword, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was one of the stories. So that one really popped out to me. I mean, we knew about the zombies. We knew about Howard the Duck. We knew about Captain Carter. We know about T'Challa being a Ravager. But I did not know Thanos or Gamora as kind of like the Mad Titan would be a story. So I'm excited about that one. Anyway, go to the go to the comments. Let me know what you thought. Share around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, if you heard it here, it's official canon.